Have you ever wanted to run away from home? Well, just for a second, imagine your home is literal hell, your father is the god of the dead, and everyone around you is some kind of insane demon, and you've got Supergiant Games' smash hit roguelite, Hades. My name is Artie, and this is my thing of the month. Let's get into it. We'll start out with the basic concept. Hades is an isometric roguelite beat-em-up where you play as Prince Zagreus, son of Hades, and attempt to escape the underworld to find your mother, Persephone. It's a pretty simple idea on the surface, where you're just attempting to ascend through the 4 areas of the underworld until you reach the surface, but Hades has a hell of a lot of features to make it far more interesting than it seems. The main thing you'll be doing in each of your escape attempts, apart from beating the hell out of everything in your way, is collecting special upgrades in the form of boons from various Olympian gods. Think Zeus, Poseidon, Ares, Dionysus and all that. Each god will provide you with a number of unique boons, which can upgrade anything from something as simple as your straight damage output to more complex things like the very foundations of your abilities. On top of that, different gods have different effects to grant you. For example, Ares, the god of war, can give you the ability to use blade rifts, which will damage enemies every second that it touches them, and Aphrodite, the god of love, can give you the ability to inflict charm on enemies, which will cause them to fight for you for a couple of seconds. Whilst godly boons are the main upgrade featured in Hades, there are other items too, like the Daedalus hammer, which will grant your weapon new abilities, or the Palm of Power, which will upgrade the level of a boon. One of Hades' biggest features, though, comes in the form of darkness. Whilst all of the items I've already talked about will reset after a run, seemingly putting you back at square one, darkness allows you to use the Mirror of Night in Zagreus' room to permanently upgrade your abilities, hence why this game is technically a roguelite, not a rogue-like, where the game will fully reset after a run. In my opinion, this is the thing that really makes Hades. Not just the fact that you can get stronger throughout the game, but the fact that this can also be interwoven into the story, canonizing your death each run and building around that idea to create a much more immersive and intricate narrative. As for Hades' main gameplay, beating stuff up throughout the underworld is incredibly satisfying. At the start of each run, you choose one of 6 different weapons, all of which have their own unique abilities. There are more standard ones, like the Stygian Blade, which is pretty much a normal sword, to far more interesting ones like the Shield of Chaos, which you can block incoming attacks with by charging a bull rush. My personal favourites so far have definitely been the Twin Fists of Malphon, which allows Zagreus to pretty much punch the hell out of enemies with his bare hands. As you ascend through the realm of Hades, you'll find a heap of different enemies, many of which introduce some interesting mechanics in and of themselves, but the far more interesting feature of each floor is its boss. In classic roguelike fashion, a huge emphasis is placed on the game's bosses. On Tartarus, the lowest floor of the underworld, you'll fight one of the 3 Fury Sisters, which dart around the screen bombarding you with heaps of attacks. Each Fury does have a slightly varying attack pattern. Megara is the most average, as the first one you fight, but Tisiphone will progressively decrease the size of the arena over time to corner Zagreus, and Alecto has a rage meter which will build up over time, resulting in her massively increasing her rate of attack once it's at full capacity. Once you've made it through Asphodel, the second floor, you'll fight the Bone Hydra in one of its many forms, who will switch between bashing the ground, spawning enemies, or firing projectiles at you. Once you've beaten it around a bit, its other heads will appear, each of them doing one of the Bone Hydra's attacks on repeat, and you'll need to take those out before you can start damaging the main head again. In future runs, you'll also fight more powerful versions of the Bone Hydra with various amped up abilities. Of all the bosses, I feel like this one is the most boring, but it's pretty easy to take care of once you've gotten the hang of the game. Then, in the 3rd floor, Elysium, you'll fight Theseus and the Minotaur. Theseus uses a spear similar to the one that Zagreus can choose to use at the start of a run, and has a shield which blocks all incoming attacks from the front, meaning you'll need to dash around him a bit to land any hits. Later in the fight, he also invokes the abilities of any Olympian god to deal even more damage to you. The Minotaur, meanwhile, will charge at you while swinging his battle axe, dealing massive damage if it manages to hit you. These two are pretty easy to deal with independently of one another, but putting them together, a la the Trigger Twins in Enter the Gungeon, really works well to introduce plenty of challenge to this fight. Finally, after you've cleared the final floor, the Stygian Temple, you'll come face to face with, that's right, Thor. No, I'm kidding. It's Hades. Obviously, he's the final boss. That's the name of the game. Anyway, he'll do all sorts of random crap, from throwing a trident at you to summoning enemies to creating these explosive skull thingies. Halfway through the fight, he'll also do the classic "this isn't even my final form" move, and enter the second phase where now he can shoot lasers at you. It's pretty silly. A good game needs plenty of challenge, or it'll get super boring super quick, and Hades has that in spades. Not only will your first run take you quite a while to complete, it took me around 20 or so hours of gameplay to beat Hades for the first time, there's so much post-game content afterwards that it's insane. First off, after beating a run for the first time, the most obvious change is the new Pact of Punishment on your way out, which you can use to artificially increase the difficulty by making enemies more beefy, adding a time limit to your run, or one of heaps of other options. On top of that, you can continue developing relationships with other characters by finding nectar and ambrosia throughout the underworld and gifting it to them in conversation. This unlocks cool little side storylines, as well as keepsakes which you can take on runs to grant you special abilities the first time you give someone a gift. The Pact of Punishment also allows you to get rewards like Titan Blood, which you can use to upgrade or change the abilities of your weapons. For example, those Twin Fists of Malthon I mentioned earlier have an aspect called the Aspect of Demeter, which you can unlock for 2 Titan Blood, and allows you to build up a stronger uppercut after hitting enemies 12 times consecutively. Each weapon has 2 aspects on top of their base form, and each aspect can be upgraded in and of itself with more Titan Blood. My favourite thing about Hades, though, is that the ability to upgrade your abilities doesn't make the game feel less rewarding. You'd think that increasing your damage output would just make the game too easy too quick, but it's quite the opposite. Thanks to the general high challenge of the base game, it forces you to actually develop your skills with each weapon. Getting just generally better at the game, alongside artificially increasing your strength with darkness, then makes your progression feel even more satisfying, as if you're developing your skills even more rapidly than in other similar games. Overall, Hades is an absolutely awesome game that I'm really looking forward to playing more of. It seems in my 40 hours of gameplay I've barely even scratched the surface of the even deeper wealth of content in there, and that's precisely why it's my thing of the month. And that's without even talking about any of the really great writing, gorgeous art, or anything else this game has to offer. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that jazz, and check out the blog on contentunavailable.net for the shorter thing of the week every week. With that said, I'll see you at some point in the future. Goodbye. Hey, I don't usually do outro card things, but I've got some post-video stuff to mention, so here I am. First off, you may have seen the Discord announcement or community post, and it's true, I'm taking a semi-break for a little while just to try and work on some new video skills. I do really enjoy writing up the things of the week over on the website and making these thing of the month videos though, so my plan is to, hopefully, keep up with these and just stop working on the bigger videos for a while. Any updates about that though will be posted in the Discord server, so link for that is in the description. Also, if you noticed anything different about this video, that's because I've started learning DaVinci Resolve as part of my self-made video making course. Let me know if you have any feedback tips or anything, but for now I won't be doing much too crazy with it. Anyway, yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.